In a world teeming with death and desolation, the reaction to rot is often negative. Inedible? Useless. One more nail in the coffin as starvation sets in. As the tendrils of decay make their way through each carcass, scavengers converge in a frenzy, devouring the decaying flesh with ravenous delight. Every scavenger's life starts somewhere. Mine began, after a series of unfortunate events, in the southern plains. A freshly spawned cerato is incredibly vulnerable to predation. Small, weak, and slow, I did what every baby rotwagon does best. Began searching for food. As I grew, food became a bit more scarce. I wasn't the only cerato in the southern plains, and if I wasn't quick, others would beat me to it. Growing more desperate by the minute, I took advantage of a small raptor's oblivious race across the river. He wasn't very large, but he wasn't very observant either. Assuming safety after crossing the river once more, he became my first fresh meal. Sometimes carnivore life is difficult. Not because you must kill to survive. That simply comes with the territory. It is that the need to kill to survive often causes others to see you as the villain. After watching a pair of Tennos chase down and kill a fresh-spawned cerato, I went to retrieve the body. My friend Bjorn was on his way, and he would need the diets. This carcass wouldn't go to waste. Or at least it wouldn't have, if the highly aggressive Tennos hadn't decided they desperately wanted me dead for walking away with something they'd killed. I wasn't fully grown, and 2 Tennos are a tall order for even a fully grown cerato. I ditched the carcass so they wouldn't use its scent to track me down, and fled into the forest, where I could lose them. A short time later, Bjorn found me, and we opted to seek out some other form of scavenge. The Tennos were still patrolling nearby the carcass I'd dropped, and it wasn't worth dying over. Now fully grown, life began to get a lot more interesting. Cerato was not necessarily intended to be a hunter. It was meant to scavenge and to bully other carnivores off their kills. However, the tools it was given for defensive brawling had the unintended effect of being absolutely perfect for slaughter under the right circumstances. I was on my way to the lower lake for a drink and to meet up with Bjorn. Although Highland Lake has a few safer drinking spots, there were none that truly felt 100% safe there, and I'd rather not take my chances with death incarnate. As I trotted by, I spotted a passing Tenno. I wasn't hungry, but considering their track record for being hyper-aggressive today for no apparent reason, I kept a close eye on the bush it stopped in. Perhaps my gaze was threatening and he panicked. Perhaps I was just so ugly in my muddy coat that he couldn't stand to watch me pass by unhindered. Or perhaps he was just bored and saw an opportunity. Either way, he attacked the second he thought I had come close enough. His mistake. Maybe I should have spared him. Let him run away to live another day. I wasn't hungry after all, but I'd had enough of aggressive Tennos attacking me. After getting water, I made my way toward the South Plains. It was incredibly dark as clouds covered the moon and my vision was limited. What I didn't know was that I was being watched. Out of the darkness flew a solo raptor. I'm not sure what the plan was, but with Bjorn on the way, hungry and in need of diets again, revealing itself was the worst possible thing the raptor could have done. As the sun rose, I caught the raptor's footprints. He was mine. Like a hound after a fox, I tracked the raptor through the rocky terrain. I was tired, but so was he. Bjorn caught up to me as my quarry darted out of sight once more. It didn't get much further. I'm not sure what happened, but seconds after Bjorn saw it, the raptor had died. My best guess is he catapulted himself off the rock he'd tried to use to escape. Unconventional, but my hunt had ended successfully. Times were rough. Food was unusually scarce after a server reset cleared up all of the old carcasses, and Bjorn and I were in a world of hurt as a result. In a solo situation, the small amounts of food we found, a goat here, a fresh spawn there, would have been sufficient to hold me over until I could find a proper meal. But as a pair of adult ceratos, these tiny snacks did nothing more than delay the inevitable. One of us was going to die if we didn't find real food soon. Gateway would provide, but only for one of us. I did what I could. This is one of those situations as a carnivore that the new stamina system really hurts. Herbivores can simply graze if they get low on food. There's no need to panic. But carnivores don't have that luxury. You either find and get food quickly, or you die. Should you find something to hunt after hurrying to get to a place you might find food, good luck. Now you're out of stam, and you will starve to death before you can hunt whatever you've found. As we approached the river, both in the red, we knew that whoever died first would at least feed the other. We didn't both need to die of starvation. As nature took its course, I did what had to be done to survive, saving the organs for Bjorn to start his next growth off right. Some time passed, and we headed to the lower lake for water. Above, we'd encountered a small group of raptors slaughtering dinos attempting to cross to Highland Lake. And though they fled, we found them again as we filled our water. Initially, they acted friendly enough. We weren't hungry, so we weren't looking to make ourselves a threat. As we turned to go, one of the raptors picked up a fish a pteranodon had dropped and chased after us. Unconcerned, but also unaware of how large the pack actually was, I chose to ignore them. At least until they attacked Bjorn. The fight was on. Things started out all right. Still unaware of the extent of the hornet's nest we'd stepped in, I rushed around a bit haphazardly at first, not watching my stamina. When I realized, however, just how many we were dealing with, I knew I needed to be more careful. Unfortunately, Bjorn went down. I'm not one to bodyguard. I moved away from the carcass. They were welcome to their kill. They'd earned it after all. The Raptors, however, had other plans. Okay, if that's how it's going to be, to the death it is. A raptor approached, carrying one of Bjorn's lungs. He was attempting to offer me a lung, I assume, as a gesture of peace. Unfortunately for him, his pack had been swarming around me long enough that I was out for blood. The fight raged through the night and into the dawn. With 2 bodies down on my little hilltop and no interest in cliff camping, I opted to pick a spot by Bjorn's body that I could somewhat reliably defend. I was slowly gaining my ability to see, and the amount of raptors was shocking. I needed to be careful, to watch my stamina and my blood pool. I didn't want to camp the tree like a coward, but I knew I needed to take advantage of what I could to keep the raptors from pouncing for too long. At some point, one of the dead raptors respawned and found his way back. On principle, I do not target babies when I'm being hunted, unless they get involved in hunting me. It just feels mean to kill a fresh spawn for existing in the vicinity of a fight. Let the big kids play rough. When I played Carno previously, my dislike for baby killing resulted in a very loyal pair of baby galleys. This time, my mercy resulted in a baby raptor turning on his own pack. Whoops. Did they kill him? I'm not sure. But seeing me outnumbered so heavily, while still holding my own, had him fighting his own family to encourage them to let me walk away. My blood pool was just below half, but my biggest concern was my steadily dropping water level. I needed to drink soon or I would die of thirst, and after such an intense battle with so many casualties, that just felt like a lame way to die. The remaining raptors backed off momentarily. Whether to get water or food, I do not know. but it gave me the opportunity to eat and refill my bile. If I made it out of this alive, I would still need my bile levels if I were going to defend myself from future attacks. One final scuffle, and it was over. The Raptors backed off entirely. I didn't know if they'd be back, but I wasn't going to stick around to find out. I needed water, and I needed it now. On my way down the hill, he returned. The little raptor that had gone rogue snatched an organ from one of his dead comrades and hopped along beside me. Adorable. Bleed healing, food nearby, and water refilled. It was time that I got some greatly needed rest. Bjorn and I met back up. He had regrown a decent amount and was ready for action. After killing a baby stego and removing it from under their noses, guess who showed up? If you guessed hyper-aggressive Tennos, you are correct. Dragging the body away had cost me excessively precious amounts of stamina, and when the Tennos decided they were coming in hot, I knew I was in huge trouble. Luckily, I had Bjorn to draw us some of their ire. He distracted the smaller of the two, while I did my best to manage the larger one. There's no point in trying to run away. All I could do was attempt to fight back with my low stamina, and hope that I could somehow survive this. The smaller Tenno backed off, and Bjorn made his way to me. He had more stamina than I did, and I desperately needed the Tenno distracted. A worthy sacrifice. Body down gave me just the buff I needed. I was exhausted and shaking. How had killing a single baby stego spiraled into this? It was stupid of me to hang around. I should have hidden and regained stamina. I had 2 carcasses. I would be fine to go sit and regain before I ate. I didn't think they'd be so determined. But I guess I forgot how ridiculously aggressive Tennos can be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and a comment. If you're new, consider subscribing for more content just like this. Also, come join my Discord. The link is in the description. We'll see you soon!